I like anime girls and I like shooters, so if you put both together, it's the best out of both worlds. There's a bunch of them, but sadly not too many, especially single player wise, and it makes me sad. Being sad sucks though, and what's the best way to make someone happy? Boobs. If you don't live on the moon, I wish I could live on the moon because there's lots of rabbits up there. You probably have heard of Senran Kagura before, a franchise about female shinobi that are very serious about their job, kinda. I am also serious about my job, so I said shinobi instead of ninja since that's the easier word to use. This is actually not my job, so I lied and I will just say ninja instead the next few times. There's a special tradition, and that is the Peach Beach Splash, a competition between different schools and groups in this world that is about water guns and squirting onto each other. And all of it is also being live streamed on YouTube, and I think I would watch every second of it if it was a real thing. Actually, I wouldn't because I'm not interested in real women anymore. The winner of it gets anything they desire. Anything. I don't know what I would wish for, probably the most boring thing possible. A lot of cash. I know it's sad, but if you never have cash problems, then you would never have any other problems either really. 95% of problems in life are solved through money. The whole event is also commentated by Miss R and Mr. K, who will give you as many lewd jokes as you could want in the time they appear. You know, I sometimes hate the joke about, oh no, I'm already 27 years old, I'm such a hack, when they don't even look like a hack in the slightest. Sure, in comparison to the other girl she's older, but the word hack should be reserved for women who are at least 40 years old. I need my MILFs to look like MILFs, you feel me? What's the point of an anime girl that is 40 but looks like 20? It's not like I really care when it comes to anime because hot is hot and she's hot. Maybe it hits the spot in my heart because I'm over 50, so I actually deserve being called one. I also tried looking for a male version of that word since I'm a guy and so I can't be a hack really, and what kind of words are kotcha and curmudgeon? Just call someone a grandpa or something. There's 3 different modes for you to play alone, and let me say this, that's mostly what you're gonna do. Not because you're gonna touch yourself, but because the online is as dead as a skunk or any other little animal that didn't check left and right before it crossed the street. I mean, the same goes for humans too, I guess. It is often said that every car driver will hit at least 5 animals in their lifetime. And maybe also 1 or 2 people. Good thing I don't have a driver's license. There's probably a Discord server where you can find people to play the game with, but I'm too antisocial to play games like that where I have to seek out other people, instead of just hitting a single button and the game does it for me. I still miss community servers though. So many hours spent on funny servers in Counter-Strike 1.6 and Source, and what if they start talking about doing other things together on Discord, like, you know, while talking about their favorite girls, since the game will get the average guy fairly heated unless you were born with the power of not being attracted to drawings and fictional women. I wonder if my life would suck less if I never started watching anime as a kid. Maybe it would suck even more though. The tournament mode is pretty much what you expect from a tournament mode. You fight with your group against the other group and eventually you reach the final and win, or lose. It's up to you. No story involved really, so the best pick for people who just want to play the normal game without any extra missions. Pure 5 vs 5 action and blasting each other with your water. The Paradise episodes are a bunch of little side stories where different girls have different problems and are on their journey to solve them. For example, Ryouna is on her search for someone to bully her. Don't worry, she likes it, so it's okay. But most girls see her as fairly weird and don't want to be involved, so most girls just tell her to piss off, even though she would like that too. Being told no, not the other thing. Or actually, she would like both. So you just do a bunch of 1 vs 1s and it ends with her eating so much shaved ice that she gets those brain freezes over and over. I really want a slushy ice right now. I haven't had one since I was like 12 years old. And well, this story was just really relatable to me because of many reasons that I will not name. Mostly because of the slushy ice though. In general, if you don't like these little anime quirks, you won't like the game probably, or just skip through every cutscene. Not to say the characters are totally one-dimensional, because sometimes they do have some depth to them, but on a first glance you can boil them down to what they are known for. Katsuragi, for example, enjoys groping the other girls and never shuts up about wanting to touch some boobs. Very relatable. Ryouna is always on the lookout for wanting to be insulted and bullied. Mirai is always complaining about being flat and hopes she can still grow some melons. That kind of stuff. And then there's the actual story mode where you can pick your favorite group of girls and experience the story through different missions that are not really that different. But before I come to that, I want to talk about the actual game now. Yay, gameplay, the most important thing after all, right? I did not expect to really like the movement in the game. I thought it was gonna be janky and all that because you don't think a spin-off game like this would get the polish it normally lacks if you take a look at the other spin-offs. Even though this is listed as a mainline game on the wiki page, so maybe they thought it deserved some extra love. And it paid off. The best thing about the game is, it allows you to blast through the air. Do a little jumpy here and there, or just really use it like a jetpack to reach places where you can snipe from if you use a sniper rifle, or do a cool jet dash that also allows you to shoot while you perform it. Once you get used to it, it just makes you wish every game would allow you to fly around like this. It's not as great as the outright hit Vanquish, but you just kinda develop this feel for the game that makes you think fun. And now you maybe want to slap my face and tell me that fun isn't a good way to measure things, but I think when it comes to things like the movement, it does count. You zoom around the place like the jiggly physics while squirting water around and enjoy the backside of your girl. How is that not fun? Except for one little thing that sometimes made me moan, but not in a good way. You have to recharge your water tanks and you do it by pressing a button, but sometimes it does not want to do it when you come out of a dash. So you just stand there while doing nothing till you realize your input did not get through, and it doesn't happen super duper often, but it was a bit annoying whenever it happened. You also have a bunch of different weapons that all have their pros and cons, like the assault rifles being a jack of all trades kinda. Decent damage and doesn't take too long to recharge. Sniper rifles have basically one shot in them before they have to be reloaded, but lots of damage, same with the rocket launchers. Or you can also pick up a Gatling gun that can shoot tons of water but needs a long time to be refilled. Also, maybe this is gonna be a bit of a hot take, but I don't like auto aim in video games. Not on PC and also not on consoles. I turned it off and never used the lock-on because it just feels more skillful to not get glued onto an enemy, even on a controller. I want to feel good about my aim, but if the game basically aims for myself, then what's the point? And yep, I played the game on a controller despite playing it on a PC, because for me third-person shooters work better on a controller than on a mouse. A mouse is always more precise, but I just enjoy them more like this because of the other movement things in the game, so it's easier to do it on a controller. Maybe I'm just getting old. So for people that want to play solo, there's a bunch to do, especially if you also want to collect all the cards in the game, because it's all about that gacha. Buying packs with coins earned for matches and then hoping you get the cards you want. If you already got a card, then you can use it to upgrade a girl with it, since it gets recycled. So the game gets a green stamp for being healthy about recycling, yay. And the art on the cards is pretty nice to look at, if you like anime boobs, or butts, or anime in general, but if you're a normal person who doesn't get a boner from drawings, well, then you probably don't want to collect them all. You can upgrade your girls and the weapons and the cards, and I have to say I'm not a min-max kind of person. I personally don't enjoy sitting in a menu to come up with the best possible setups and all that, since I am dumb. And I don't want to be a slave to the meta either. I just use cards that looked hot and belonged to my favorite girls, regardless of what their abilities were. Mostly used attacking cards and not cards to reduce the enemy team's damage or things like that, since I can imagine those are strong against actual players, but against bots, it's more fun to go full damage with those cards. The most annoying thing about it is that if you decide to play the story mode with all of the girls, you need to sit down and then equip them with all the cards you want, upgrade them and blah blah. Mostly you want to upgrade their health because the AI for your teammates is useless. That's as nice as I can put it. In the normal story stages they're fine, but in the actual 5 vs 5 matches on the highest difficulty, they make you think their IQ is even lower than yours. So I just thought, nope, not gonna equip them with better cards because it will just be a time of waste anyways. I never saw them use them in a good way. They love to just run in circles sometimes, and it's a miracle if you ever see them doing anything smart. Most of the time it will end up with you being the last man standing while trying to revive them over and over and trying to not get splashed yourself. The enemies are also not really much smarter, but once you're left alone and they all focus you, it's kinda hard not to get owned. It's easy to kite them back and forth if there's only like 2 of them, but you can die extremely fast and you only get 3 lives. Despite that, it's still fun, till the tiredness of basically doing the same thing over and over sets in. I thought the story mode is going to be different for all of the groups, but it's the same gameplay wise for the missions. For example, I got a mission where I have to put out the fire and thought, wow, they're trying to mix it up. And then I played the story mode of a different group and they also made up a story reason for them to set their house on fire because of their barbecue party. So you have to put out the fire again, just on a different map. It's the same structure for all of the different story modes, which is a bit sad, but hey, what can you do? I have to say I'm a fan of Senran Kagura, so obviously it gets bonus points just because of that. And I'm also easily charmed by anime girls and their aesthetic. It's nice though to get a bit more of a colorful third-person shooter instead of the typical ones you would think of that are grey and brown and full of bloom and all that. Like I said at the beginning, there's a few other shooters that are a bit more colorful like Bomb Stars, wow, where I never understood why it never came to PC. It would have not saved the game, but still, I don't understand Square Enix sometimes. And then there's obviously Splatoon, where I really like the single player campaigns, but I'm not a big fan of the PvP. Also, just like in the other games, you can also customize the girls however you want. You can turn any girl into a completely different girl pretty much. Who needs to have a cool Sonic OC when you can make a ninja OC? Don't like a girl? No worries. Put on a new hairstyle, outfit, and there you go. Now you have a girl you like. You can also unlock new characters by playing the story, new outfits in the store where you can spend your coins, new hairstyles, cards, and if you want to collect everything, it will take a while. There's also the intimacy mode where you can spray water, you can also make it look like pee if you want to, on the girls and touch them if you want to. I never understood this though. If you play this, you most likely wanna whop one out, right? But to press the buttons you kinda need both hands, so you can't do that unless you do it in an awkward position. Why not include an automatic mode too, where the hands grab them so you don't need to press any buttons yourself while watching it? You can also use the picture mode where you can pose the girls however you want, pick any girl to make them pose together, and for people of fetishes that I don't understand, you can even make them huge or small. Not king shaming or anything like that, but how are giant women attractive? They will crush you, but I think that's maybe the point. You want to be stuck under their feet or something like that, I don't know. Every time I see one, I think of that one cursed Sonic picture that I will not show here. Would I recommend this to people who are on the lookout for a third-person shooter? Kinda not. For a cheap sale, sure, if you enjoyed what you saw. I would really love this kind of game, but with an actual real single-player campaign. Not the typical arcade-style single-player of what we have here, where you just have missions on the actual maps of the game instead of having well-crafted maps fitting for a real single-player experience. It can't be that hard to make anime girl shooters, right? Just a bit sad about that dead online mode because the game probably is a lot of fun with other people. Maybe. With that said, I hope you enjoyed the video and will have a good day, a good night, or whatever fits your time zone, and I will never give up the hope for another Senran Kagura game. I would even take more spin-offs. And also Ryouna is the best girl. But I also understand that in one way the heir is already out of the ball, you know? Sometimes things should end before they get milked too much like a cow, and the games have a lot of cows. And to a degree it already got sucked dry. I'm lactose intolerant but I still drink milk. Just wanted to say that. Bye bye.
Thank you, baby.